Hello, thanks for joining me, astrologer Patrick Arundell, for your in-depth weekly forecast for week commencing the 16th of September. Thank you so much for joining me. This is for your sun or your ascendant. If you yet to subscribe to my channel, I'd be honoured if you did now. This week sees Saturn end its 4.5 month backward journey. I think this is something that we can all let out a collective sigh of relief around. But it is true that last week's full moon in Pisces is still feeding its way into this week's proceedings. This is asking us to remain mindful of the more spiritual or emotional dimension of the more practical elements of our aims and our activities. But it is also true to say that Venus and Mercury are forging a beautiful alliance in the sign of Libra. Of course, Venus rules Libra, so it's in its home zone. And if there is something that needs to be discussed, these two will certainly help us to be a bit more detached and embrace a bit more diplomacy. It is true in the second half of the week that Mercury goes into a square with Saturn, and possibly there could be a bit of inhibition or a bit of a stumble around one particular interaction. But I think it is a chance to reach out, to try to find some consensus, to meet people halfway. However, Uranus is forging an obtuse angle to Venus all this week. So when it comes to relationship issues where money might be involved, it's probably better not to be too impetuous. There's also a quarter moon as this week closes in the sign of Gemini. It's just cautioning us not to try to pack too much in. There is a window of opportunity to be really constructive because Mars is forging an awesome angle to Pluto. So if we're really single-minded and we've done our research and we're very precise in our approach, there is the opportunity for a huge step forwards. But if we try to do too much, this quarter moon is going to catch us out. So if you're planning any do-it-yourself, as this week draws to a close, it's probably best not to be too ambitious. Your specific forecast, Cancer, shows that communications continue to be a delicate part of your scenario, particularly when it comes to relationships. But there are two marvellous things that happen this week. Firstly, Saturn releases the handbrake by going into direct motion in your sector of relating. It has been tracking backwards for 4.5 months, and it going forwards is just going to relieve some pressure. But also Pluto in the same zone is forging an awesome angle to Mars. If there's something that you want to say that you feel incredibly passionate about and you really own it and you want other people to take note of it, you're going to come across with real gusto. In fact, you could be hugely persuasive and motivated. This could be a very good aspect if you need to be a bit more competitive as well. Just be conscious, however, that Venus and Mercury have moved into a more tender part of your scope. In the second half of this week, Mercury actually clashes with Saturn. It's possible that someone close to you may seem a little bit down in the mouth or not quite on the programme as you see it, and you may have to negotiate with them. But with Uranus also in a quincunx with Venus, it's also possible that you can find some way to use your home imaginatively to create some kind of future strand, but it may mean that there's some kind of compromise involved. But as this week draws to a close, there is a quarter moon. And this quarter moon is just saying to you, be very careful about who you share a confidence with. There is the chance that someone who's a little bit loose with information could pick up a snippet and seize on it with relish. Just don't give them the opportunity. It's been a real pleasure being with you. If you'd like to know more about your personal horoscope based on your time, date and place of birth, why not order your year 2020 forecast? You can get the rest of this year free and 30% off by clicking the link beneath this video. But for now, good luck and goodbye.